know me, I am Reverend Jeffrey Kealoha, and it is my honor to serve this beautiful community, Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, as the consulting minister here for the next 3 months. So if Reverend Jeffrey Kealoha is too long for you, then Reverend Jeffrey is fine, or simply Rev Jeff, that works too. So Rev Jeff is a better hashtag, what can I say? Speaking of that, if you haven't already checked into Facebook, please take out your cell phones, make sure that you check into Facebook now, let people know that you are here at Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, and this is where everybody else needs to be too, right? We had a great week last week, we're going to have a great week this week, we're going to have a great time together. So, make sure that you let everybody know that we're here. Alright. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of look at last week for just a moment, and then we'll jump into what we're doing for this week. How's that sound? Yeah. Good? Alright. So this month, Centers for Spiritual Living, what we're working with as a theme is we're working with the theme of You Are Rooted in the Divine. And last week I just shortened that to Rooted in the Divine. And what I brought forth to you last week was that the idea of John 15. I am the vine, my Father is the gardener. Then I am the vine, ye are the branches, abide in me, and bear fruit richly. Right? So we're going to dive, so we kind of did a broad scope last week, and so this week I want to do a little bit deeper of a dive into that. We talked about, last week, we also talked about cutting the dead branches, right? The branches that no longer bear fruit, and what we said about that is that those branches that no longer bear fruit, that we cut those away, and from a metaphysical perspective, what that is those are the old ideas, the old habits, the old ways of being that no longer serve us. Perhaps they did serve us at one point in our lifetime, but they no longer serve us now. And so we have the opportunity then to hospice them, give thanks for them, and then allow them to pass, because all things come to pass. So we allow those things to pass. And then the other piece was that we prune, right? God is the gardener, the Father is the gardener, cutting away the dead branches and pruning those which do bear fruit. And when we talked about pruning, what we talked about was the idea of spiritual practice and the individual spiritual practice of meditation and spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer and visioning. And so one of our spiritual practices that we do have here at Centers for Spiritual Living is sacred study. And so you have the opportunity, coming up in April, we have 2 classes that we are starting in April. The first starts on Monday, April 2nd, and that is called Meditation is More Than You Think. It is an 8-week class. All of you are welcome to attend. We would encourage you to bring your friends along to attend this class as well. The class is an 8-week class. It's an 8-week exploration of different types of meditation, because meditation truly is more than what you think it is. And so it's an exploration of 8 types of meditation and more, so that you can kind of begin to explore what meditation types work for you in this point in your life, what type of meditation techniques might work for you with the specific situation you might be working with. So meditation is more than you think. It's $149 if you sign up. When you sign up, pay in full, it's $149. If you want to do a payment plan, it's $160 with $40 down. If you want a printed copy of the manual, you'll get a PDF copy for free. But if you want a printed copy of the manual, then that's an additional $10 that you can order. And the order forms are outside on the lobby in the foyer. And you can take that to Casey in the books in the Metanoia Marketplace, and she can take care of you registering there. The other class that we're going to be doing is going to be on Sundays, and that's going to start on April 7th. And that one is called Prayers of Our Fathers. And that one is $49. It's a 4-week class. And in that class, we're going to explore some familiar Christian prayers from a new perspective. So as you develop a new relationship with these Christian prayers, then it will also help build a new relationship and a new foundation for what we call affirmative prayer here at Centers for Spiritual Living. So those are 2 options available for you for classes coming up. So remember when we were talking about pruning the branches that bear fruit, is doing our sacred practice. So by doing either one of these classes or both, you get meditation, you get prayer, and of course we have sacred study. So that's Prune, 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 grow, 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 bear more fruit. Yes? Yes. All right, awesome. So both of those sign up is on one sheet of paper, and you can get that out there in the lobby. All right, now that we got that business out of the way, we talked about what it was last week. Let's dive into a little bit more in depth as to what we're looking at this week. So if we look at the I am the vine, last week we talked about I am the vine, my Father is the gardener, pruning and cutting away. This week we're focusing a little bit more on the I am the vine and you are the branches. So what there is there's a divine life within each one of us. This divine life is the one that we call God. And as we talked about last week, it's the root, it's the foundation of the who we are. And it grows through us, or it moves through us, much the way the life force of the tree behind me, the life force comes in from the ground and moves through the trunk and out into the branches. And the trunk there, the individualized expression of God in and as you, is your Christ consciousness. It is the Christ that dwelleth in you. It is the God that lives within you. It is that high idea, that oneness of your divinity. That is the Christ consciousness that we're talking about. It's the individualized God within you, God showing up and expressing in, through, and as you is the Christ consciousness. And so that Christ consciousness is the vine. That Christ consciousness is always in God. It's always rooted in the soil, always rooted in that infinite divine substance that is wanting to move forth, that is wanting to emerge, that is wanting to express. And so what we know then is that God's nature is creative. God's nature is freedom. God's nature is always unfolding and expressing. So if God is all there is, which is what we teach here, if God is all that there is, then that God essence, that God being, that divinity must be rising through me and expressing out through me and expressing out through each one of us. Do you agree with that? Yes. So the nature of God then is toward freedom. Or the nature of God is freedom. The nature of God is love. The nature of God is joy. The nature of God is good. It could be no other way. If God were anything but that, then God would be limited. And we know that God is unlimited. Right? Right. So, therefore, if God is unlimited, and I'm a divine expression of God, and you're a divine expression of God, then you are unlimited. Right? You too are unlimited. So Ernest Holmes, in the Living the Science of Mind, which is the book that we're using this entire year, he writes, the nature of God is not one of limitation or bondage, but one of freedom. God's will and nature must be identical. God's will for all of creation is self-expression, since creation is an expression of God. And then he goes on to say, the life that is cramped, warped, timid, and fearful does not express the divine being so completely as the free-swinging self-expression of the soul, pronouncing God's work of good, announcing through every experience the ecstasy of self-expression. Woo, Ernest. Okay? So we are not limited. We are not small. We do not live a cramped life, a timid life, a fearful life. God is not cramped. God is not small. God is not timid. And God certainly is not shabby. God is magnificent, right? God is powerful. God is bold. That is who each one of us is. A bold, powerful, magnificent expression of the divine. Right? Yes. Is that who you are? Yes. Let's hear it. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Remember, free-flowing, swinging ecstasy of God, right? Who are you, Ernest? Oh my gosh. Great. I love it. So that's the truth of who we really are. how are we doing? Right? See, there's nothing that limits God. There's nothing that limits God. Nothing could limit God because there's only one power, one presence, one life, one love, one eternal beingness, and that is God. So there's only that one. So there could be nothing opposed to that one. There's not two, there's only one. So how come we sometimes live that small, cramped, warped, timid, fearful experience? How come we sometimes live that limited experience? It's because we ourselves, given the full freedom, given the full will of God, the free will to express and to be, can use that same freedom to limit ourselves, to create bondage within ourselves. But there is no such thing really as bondage within ourselves. There really isn't. It's just our perception or our ignorance of the law and the way it works and how we use it and how it expresses through us. Ernest Holmes also says in this really fabulous chapter, he says, what you believe about God, influences our entire experience in life. Read that one in. What you believe about God influences your entire experience in life. Remember, it's done unto us as we believe. The law works regardless of what it is that we're believing, what it is that we're putting into the law, if you will. The law always works. The law always responds in kind. So what is it that I'm believing to be the truth? What is it that I'm believing to be the experience? What is it that I'm believing about God? And that belief then shows up as in my life and as in your life. Because where it works one place, it works everywhere. Yes? So, where do these beliefs come from? When we come into this world, when we come into this lifetime, we come in brand new, full of love, a divine expression of the one. The who of who we are is pure, unconditional love, pure joy, pure divinity. And that divinity is never changed. But all the other stuff gets piled on. Because what happens when we start to grow is folks start to teach us things. We start to learn things in our community. We start to learn things from our family. And these things help keep us safe. These things help guide and direct us, if you will. And so it is through our socialization that we begin to develop these beliefs and we don't know why we believe them. We don't understand necessarily why these things are the way they are. It's just, that's just the way they are. It's part of our socialization. It's part of our indoctrination. It's part of our culturalization, if you will, when we're young. There's nothing bad or wrong necessarily about it, but that's just the way things are. That's the way society and the culture forms us to be, because if we behave in these certain ways, then we're kept safe, if you will, or we don't cause conflict, or we don't stick out, depending on what it is. Right? And then as we grow older and we mature, we also begin to develop our own strategies of coping, our own belief systems based on our own experience of what life is and what life has brought forth for us. We begin to experience those things, and those experiences and our feelings around them also then contribute to our belief system. And so, if you look at it, we come in clean, pure, divine, love. And then well-intentioned people begin to put us in a box, or begin to define who we are and how we interact and how we live and how we present and how we show up. And then we begin to do that to ourselves. And so we begin to take on either an armor, if you will, or all this extra added stuff. Last week I told you I didn't tell you what some of the people said, but I told you people were trying to put us in a box, and I said I was not having that, and I'm still not having that, right? And so I'm also not having it within this community. Do not allow yourself to be put in a box, nor do we want to put others in a box, because there is only one. And so, about 200 or 300 years ago, in Thailand, it was called Siam at the time, or at least it was called Siam in English at the time. About 200 to 300 years ago, the Burmese army was moving into Thailand, and there was a beautiful statue. There was a beautiful golden Buddha. And the Burmese army was coming in, and so the monks who were in charge of this golden Buddha, what they did to protect the Buddha is they plastered it with clay. They covered it in mud, they covered it in clay, so that it appeared to just be a clay Buddha. And so when the invading army, or the Burmese army, came in, they didn't see the golden Buddha that was present. All they saw was clay, and they left it alone. So these monks did this to protect this treasure. And then the monks who knew about this eventually began to die off. And then the golden Buddha became a legend. That there once was this golden Buddha, and it just became a legend. Until about mid-19th century, they were building a road where this golden Buddha, where this Buddha was. They were building a road, and so they needed to move the Buddha. And so when they lifted the Buddha with cranes, one of the supports snapped, and it fell, and it cracked. And everybody's like, oh no, the Buddha cracked. And what then they realized, is what they saw then, was the gold underneath it. And so then eventually the gold was slowly, bit by bit, depending on which story you hear, the gold was removed, either bit by bit, slowly, or taken off in chunks, or cleansing rain washed it, depending on which story you want to follow, or which one you want to hear. But anyway, the mud was removed, revealing the golden Buddha within. And so what is the golden Buddha? The golden Buddha is each one of us. It is our divine nature. The Buddha nature is the same thing as Christ consciousness. They're one and the same. Buddha nature, Christ consciousness, interchangeable. So it's similar to pruning off or cutting off dead branches, removing the mud. You see how the story is very similar, that it doesn't matter whether it's a Christian story or a Buddhist story, but there's the truth behind it. And so what I invite you to do in this moment is to go ahead and close your eyes and sit with dignity, whatever that means to you. If you feel comfortable, I invite you to just sit with dignity. And turn within. And recognize that right where you are, in the center of your being, is the divine. Is gold. It's the precious essence of all life. And I invite you to gently and lovingly just notice all of the ideas and belief systems, all of those things that have been projected and cover your divine nature. like the mud of the Buddha. Just be present with them. Noticing. And then like the cleansing rain that we had yesterday here in Riverside, in the IE, all the way up in Vegas. That cleansing, beautiful rain that we had. Just begin to allow it to shower down on you from the top of your head. Washing over your body. Allowing the love to wash over you. Feel the mud washing away. The rain cleanses you from the top of your head, down past your shoulders, down your torso, down out your fingertips, down your legs and out through your feet. Just feel the rain or the white light or love, whatever you choose. Just feel it washing over you, washing you clean. Allowing your true essence to shine through, allowing the golden Buddha within you to be present and visible. See the mud and the dirt just simply wash away. Running away from you. Downhill. And I invite you to envision our beloved center, Riverside Center, Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living. Visualize the building. Visualize this place. And see the rain of love, the rain of light. Begin to wash it as well. Removing the mud of false beliefs, limiting ideas, accusations, blame, shame, judgment. Simply allowing it to wash down off the roof, down the sides of the building, down into the park down below. See it just washing down there. Gently. And breathe in and out. When you're ready, I invite you to return to the room, shining the bright light that you are. In Matthew 5, Jesus, the master teacher, tells us, "You are the light of the world. A city on the hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. Instead, you put it on a lampstand so that everybody might see it, to shine your light." So, who's with me? No more hiding our light.
Yes.
Right? No more putting it under a basket. Right? No more mud.
Yes.
We're going to allow the God, the Buddha within us to to shine through, allow that golden light to shine through, that's who we're going to show up as, yes? Yes. That's who we truly are. That is our divine nature, so that's how we show up. Marianne Williamson says this. You're probably familiar with it, but it's always a good reminder. Marianne Williamson says this, and she reminds us of this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Your playing small does not serve the world. Be bold. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure in your presence. Stop it. All right? We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. We are born to make manifest the glory of God which is within us. That is the God essence wanting to experience, wanting to express itself that we talked about at the beginning, that we just talked about with the God, the Buddha quality wanting to come through, the golden Buddha. That is the glory of God that is wanting to express within each of us. And it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do exactly the same. When we let our own light shine, everybody gets permission to let their light shine. And we don't even have to say, okay, Scott, you can let your light shine now. Right? It just happens naturally. Because when we do something individually, we are doing it for the collective. We do not operate in isolation. We are always doing it for the world work. But the world work begins and ends right where we are because that is the way it works. I can't change Scott or Ed. I can't change them. But I can change me, I can change my ideas, I can change my beliefs. I have control over what happens in here and what happens in here. And when I look to what happens in here, and I change that, and I radiate love, and I radiate the God within me, then naturally things out around begin to change, because it is always happening in the individual. And so as we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. That is what Marianne Williamson has to share with us about being the light, allowing the light to shine. So remember, God is not shabby. God is not, this twisted little thing that's trying to make itself small. God is magnificent. God is all there is. Therefore, you are magnificent. Therefore, this community is magnificent. I don't believe you. But try it. I am magnificent. Here we go. This community is magnificent. Yes. Very good. Thank you. So, this afternoon, we have the opportunity to come together. We have primed the pump this morning. We have taken a shower, a collective shower, if you will. There's an image for you. God, swinging and self-expression, right? So we've taken a collective shower. We've primed the pump. We have begun to prune. And we've begun to cut away those false beliefs within ourselves, and we've begun to prune that which is bearing fruit within ourselves. And then that allows us to do this as a community together. So today, 12:30, out in Johnson Hall, we're going to be doing this as a collective, creative community experience. We are going to uncover the divine. We are going to uncover our greatness. And the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to make sure that all that stuff, all that mud, that we know where all of it is, so that we can spray it down and hose it down and let's get rid of it. So we're going to start with that, and then we're going to move into a wonderful creative experience. That creative experience, then, we're going to see next week here in the sanctuary. So if you want to be a part of what's happening here at Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living, I invite you to stay and be part of what's happening in Johnson Hall at 12:30. Because together we are uncovering our magnificence. Because I am magnificent. This community is magnificent. We are magnificent. We are not happy. And so it is. So, that actually works, because I was going to ask you to turn me off in a minute anyway. At this time, I invite all of our practitioners serving Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living to please rise and begin to form a circle around the sanctuary and distribute yourselves as necessary. I invite our core council members who serve Riverside Community Center for Spiritual Living to also please stand and circle the sanctuary. So my beloveds, look at these beloveds standing around you, circling you, surrounding you in love. These beloveds are in prayer for you on a daily basis. They are in prayer for this community. They hold this community high on a daily basis. Now I invite my beloved visiting ministers and practitioners to please join my beloveds. They're already standing, and please surround the sanctuary with your presence as well. So these beloveds are some of the most treasured beloveds that I have in my life. They have come here to support our center, Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. I've known some of these beloveds for over 10 years. They've been in foundations with me. They've taught me. They've shared with me. Some of these beloveds, one of them I married. Were in ministerial school with me. One was my very first teacher, and one was the very first person to give me a hug to let me know that I was home in Center for Spiritual Living. So these beloveds join us here today in support of this community. They will also be helping us out. They will also be supporting us in our activity this afternoon. They too have committed to holding this community high, keeping this community in their prayers for the next 3 months as well. So we have support within the community, and we have support from the larger community surrounding and loving this community up. Isn't that a magnificent thing? Yes. So, my visiting practitioners and ministers, you know what's going to happen. My Riverside practitioners and core council, surprise! What we're going to do for prayer today is what we call chamber prayer. So what's going to happen is each one of the practitioners and ministers surrounding this congregation today is going to individually, but at the same time, speak a spiritual mind treatment, speak a prayer for this community. Because that's what each one of these beloveds do on a daily basis. And so what you're going to hear is a wonderful chamber of prayer, a wonderful murmuring, if you will, of individualized prayer. Are you ready to receive? Yes. Because we are. Yes. We are not. Yes. We are All right, and so my beloveds, we begin prayer now. Together we say,